It was a wild one in Switzerland today as Canada were on upset alert from Norway. What a wild game. There'll be a lot to talk about. I'm Owen from Owen Talk Sports. Let's get over the 6-5 overtime win for Canada against the Norwegians. What a surprising game. Canada, I thought they would blow through this game pretty easily, but Norway gave them a run for their money. They got off to an early lead, and Canada seemed to be clawing back the entire game. They had one moment where they did have the lead in the early third period. Then Norway took it right back. And yeah, Canada need a late goal and then an overtime winner. So let's get discussing the stats for this game. 42 shots for Canada, 19 for Norway. Both teams did score on the power play. It's just Canada's second power play goal they've scored in this tournament. So something they do need to work on. Norway had 10 penalty minutes. Canada had 8. And Canada had the advantage in the faceoffs. As we go over the stats for today's game, or the goal scoring we'll go through. First off, Norway opened the scoring about 5 minutes into the first period from Eskid Bakke Olsen, assisted by Petter Vesterheim and Patrick Elvesveen. Then Johans Johansson scored for Norway at 11:37 to give them a 2-0 lead. Assist there from Andreas Martinsen and Tinus Luk Koblar. Canada proceeded to get a couple goals back via Mark Scheifele. He scored 2 goals in that first period. First one coming at 13:30 unassisted. Second one at 17:50 assisted by Parker Wotherspoon and Gabe Velarde. But to open up that second period at about the 3-minute mark, Noah Steen will score for Norway, assisted by Petter Vesterheim for the second time, and then Johan Johansson getting his second point. Gabe Velarde would then answer back about halfway through the second, assisted by Mark Scheifele and then Evan Bouchard. So a 3-point game for Mark Scheifele as of then. Third period, Canada gets an early lead, about 31 seconds in, from Dylan Cousins getting the goal, assisted by Darnell Nurse. That one was shorthanded, so Canada, nice little special teams goal there. Then, at about 8 minutes later, Noah Steen gets his second of the game for Norway, assisted by Christian Kassestuhl. So Norway, again, they kept in this game. I wouldn't say they were the better team, but they definitely had chances. At about a minute and a half later, Tinus Luk Koblar would get his goal, giving him 2 points on the night, assisted by Emilio Pettersson and Johans Johansson. So 3 points there for Johansson. But Canada wouldn't go away. Late in the game, with about under 2 minutes to go, Ryan O'Reilly strikes there. Again, Canada's veteran presence on this World Championship team, I'll call him. He's played the most games ever at the tournament. He'll get his fourth goal of the tournament, assisted by Macklin Celebrini and Evan Bouchard. So a couple of points for Bouchard. And then in overtime, as you can see in the stats page, it does say Scheifele has 3 goals, so it does kind of spoil it. Mark Scheifele, the overtime winner, assisted by Evan Bouchard. So 3 points for Bouchard and Macklin Celebrini. So a couple points for the captain. And yeah, just an overall fun game to watch. It was a bit stressful at times if you're obviously big into, Canada needs to win everything. And yes, I support Canada every time and I want Canada to win everything. But these games against smaller nations where it's not a total blowout is fun. And Canada had a fun result with Norway. 6-5, Canada still gets to win. Overtime win for Norway. And I'll say this, coming into this game, I didn't have much idea on how good Norway was, but they've won 2 games and I think had another overtime or shootout loss in their other game. Norway's a solid team and definitely can contend in this, or been contending in this group so far. I think they're currently 4th. I wouldn't be surprised if they are the team who makes it out of the group stage, uh, with Canada, Sweden, and Czechia. And yeah, I mean, Norway, they've been putting up a tough fight so far. You can't write them off in any game. And probably the biggest surprise team so far in this World Championships. I mean, there's Austria on the other side who are perfect or were perfect. So they got hammered 9-0 last night. But definitely throw Norway in the running there. And yeah, well, I guess we'll talk through the game. I will say this, I think Canada were the more controlling team. I think Norway, a lot of their goals were just off the rush chances. They were fabricated off Canada miscuing something. They'll get a chance off the rush, and it'll just find its way in the net. Uh, Going over the goalies, I thought Norman for Norway, he was fine. There wasn't any particularly bad goals I thought they gave up. So we'll give credit to him. I thought he played a solid game. He wasn't Norway's usual starter. The usual starter, I guess, was getting the day off against Canada. He had 2 shutouts in their last 2 games, so a little confusing why he didn't get the game against Canada. But the one way you could view is that maybe they thought he gets today off because they thought they were going to lose this game. And if he starts this game, they honestly probably win this game. He has been Norway's other goal has been really good, but Norman didn't think any of the goals were particularly his fault. I thought maybe the final one, but deflection. Shifley had just a few nice shots. The Velarde goal was just a tap in. Cousins a great effort. There's not much he could have done. Cam Talbot, on the other hand, I said in my last video that it's still a debate between who the starter is between Cam Talbot and Jet Greaves. It's not a debate anymore. Cam Talbot seized in that at all in the rest of this tournament. It just shouldn't happen. If there's another goalie who isn't starting the game not named Jet Greaves, it should be Jack Ivankovic. Today was absolutely awful from Cam Talbot. There were a few of the Norway goals where I'll give him a few, credits for it. Like there were screens. It's hard to can't always put the blame on goalies when there's screens, but he was giving up some really weak goals, and man, it was just not good for Cam Talbot. Cam Talbot, I mean, was a Senator for a year, didn't particularly like him. He was either hurt or wasn't that good. For Canada, had that one good World Championships run about a decade ago where he had 4 shutouts. Got a shutout against Italy, but Norway's clearly a step above Italy, and yeah, he just stunk. So that's probably it for me on Cam Talbot. I'd probably go Greaves the rest of the way, or if you want to give Ivan Kovic, maybe you start tomorrow against Slovenia. Be my guest, but I've seen probably enough of Cam Talbot for the remainder of this tournament. It was a absolutely horrific show. I mean, they were showing the expected goals throughout the game. I don't know why the IIHF doesn't have that as a stat on their app. Could be a cool thing to add to the graphic. It was like 5 or 6 expected goals for Canada compared to Norway's like under 2. This game shouldn't have been close, but Cam Talbot made it a close game. Again, I like when teams like Norway do compete, and I thought they were competitive, especially more in the third period, though. I think the first and second period, they got some lucky chances and they get some, again, help from Cam Talbot not playing particularly good. But Canada controlled the game, probably should have scored a few more goals. The third period was more of a back and forth period. I felt like Norway, they knew they could take this game, and they played like they could take this game. Fortunately, Canada does have the offensive talent and just talent overall where they'll eventually get this goal. They kept pressuring Norway to end, and they ended up getting that overtime goal. I mean, or game time goal that sent the game to overtime. There was that stretch though in late in the third period where Norway was kind of playing keep away of Canada, and if Norway's doing this stuff, I have to give credit. Norway's a good team. This is a good team. They should make the quarterfinals. If they win a game, I don't know. They'll be probably playing Switzerland because I think they'll be the 4th place team in this group. But Norway's not a bad team. This is definitely a solid team who, if they had some more luck in who they'd probably play, I think they could have maybe be on an upset watch. But Switzerland, they're a good team. They'll have the home crowd. I think Switzerland would get past them pretty easily. And yeah, I mean, Canada controlled the game. They got a late chance. There were some scares. Norway, again, they were getting the puck luck. They're getting the puck in the net. Canada weren't really like it. They eventually got the goal to tie the game, but the late third period there was some questionable decisions. And yeah, standout players of the game again. Mark Scheifele definitely deserves it. From how I watched, his line was by far the best line. Couldn't tell you much outside of that line. I mean, the Crosby, Celebrini, Martone line. You just know them because every time they're on the ice, they'll always be highlighted a lot. But their line, I'm pretty sure, caused, like, the Scheifele goal, so we'll give credit the first one, so we'll give credit there, but outside of that, didn't do much. The Minton line with Connor Brown, and then, like, Cousins was on it for a little bit, but then, I don't know, it was weird, didn't notice much, but, yeah, there's Velarde, Scheifele, I think it was Thomas who was on that line. That line was noticeable. O'Reilly, Holloway, Tavares had their moments, but yeah, there was one real line for Canada today. Norway, they gave the player of the game to Bake Olsen, which I guess. I thought Luke Koblar there, Tinus Luke Koblar, I thought he was pretty noticeable. Definitely a player worthy of a shout for that player of the game. I mean, Johans Johansson had 3 points, another player. Just overall, Canada, good result. I mean, they outplayed the team. They're always going to outplay teams in this tournament. It just depends on one if their goaltenders decide to show up and not troll, which Cam Talbot decided today he's going to feel like a troll. On the other hand, it also helps if the Norway goalie is gonna play the game of his life. Today, he played solid. There were points where we had more expected goals than we had goals. So obviously, he was playing a good enough game, but wasn't playing the game of his life enough to keep Canada from winning this game. And then, yeah, our next game we play tomorrow at 10:20 a.m. against Slovenia. With how this game went, I'm not going to call it an easy win, but it should be an easy win. Canada should be moving to technically it would be 4-1, 0-0, but I'm just going to call it 5-0. They can't go officially perfect with a 10-0, 0-0 record for Canada. The road to 10 wins is still on. I've been Owen from Owen Talk Sports. Canada survives the upset against Norway and continue their perfect start at the World Championships.